What is rent-to-own credit repair? Well, rent-to-own credit repair is when you're in a rent-to-own situation and you're trying to increase your credit score because at the end of the lease, you're going to purchase the home. And so that gives you time to increase your credit score by paying off old debt. It allows you to deal with student loans. It also allows you to increase your credit score by maybe taking out a credit building credit card and making on-time payments, paying your rent on time, making sure you're not late for anything. All those things will help you increase your credit score so at the end of a rent-to-own process, you'll have a higher credit score, which will help you with your qualification to buy the home. Another way to look at rent-to-own credit repair is the same way that you would look at credit repair. And so people typically, when they're renting, aren't looking at their credit score. The average application you get at a property management company on renters is anywhere from 540 to 590. And most of the time, people in that situation are just hopeless. And so the first thing that I encourage them to do is to download the app CreditWise. Now I know there's a million apps and a million different ways to do it, but this is how I do it. And this is what helped me and what's helped friends and family that I work with. And so when downloading CreditWise, it gives you an immediate score of where your credit's at. And they use really good qualifications, right? They have really good data. And so it's actually accurate, or pretty accurate. Nothing's perfect, right? Until they do that hard pull. But this app gives you an idea of where you are, and it also shows you different categories, right? How much available credit do you have? It also shows you your oldest line of credit. And then it also shows you on-time payments that you've made. And then what's great about Capital One is that it's also a bank, right? I do all my banking through Capital One. And then it also allows you to apply for what's called a credit building credit card. If you're younger and you don't have any credit, this is an excellent way to do it. You download CreditWise, you get a credit building credit card. Typically it's like a $400 to $500 limit credit card. And what I do is I would take that credit card and pay one bill per month and then put it on auto payment so that you get an on-time payment, not early and never late. Never late, because that ruins the whole process. And if you use the automatic payment from your bank account to pay, let's say, your cell phone bill every month, you're going to have on-time payments going each month, right? And the idea is never to increase the amount on that credit card if it's $500 over 30%. And that rule is a good rule of thumb for any credit card, okay? And so the idea is use it and pay on time. Use it and pay on time. What CreditWise does, what Capital One does, and you'll see this in your CreditWise app, is that they will increase your credit amount through this credit building credit card. You'll go from 500 to 1,000 to 1,500 to 3,000 to 5,000. And so that helps increase your credit score really quick. Another thing CreditWise does is it looks at all the things that you've avoided paying, right? And so if you have damage on an apartment from your past or something like that you've ignored for 10 years, pay that off. If you have an eviction, pay that off. Medical bills and other things like that, it's probably good to look at how old they are, because after, I'm not sure if it's 8 years or 10 years, it's one of the two, so look it up. You don't have to pay that. I'm not saying that it's not the right thing to do, but if you have medical bills that are over 10 years old that are still there, you actually can request those to be taken off. But the best thing to do is to make sure you're making all your payments on time. If you have a car payment, right, utilities, or anything else connected with the house, make sure you pay those on time. And this will help you increase your credit score. Now, in the process of increasing your credit score, there's many different philosophies on this, right? There's some people that follow Dave Ramsey, and he would say, try to have a 0 credit score. But if you're actually trying to buy a house in the next 2 years, the idea is to have a higher credit score because you're actually borrowing, right? And so there are other things that you can do. And so here's some things I did. We buy a lot of our things through Amazon. And so we got an Amazon credit card and we started using it to buy things around the house. And then we did an auto payment to pay it off each month. That built up our available credit a lot. And so we went from having a $1,000 limit on an Amazon Prime credit card to going up to $4,000 or $5,000, and that increased. So another thing that I did was I had to get some dental work done. And so I got a credit card that allowed me to get dental repair or medical procedures done. And then I was able to pay that off with no interest within, I think, 15 or 18 months. And so what's great is once I paid it off, that credit limit is still there. So these are a few strategies we used to try to increase our overall credit limit and to increase the amount of on-time payments that we are making each month, which is really good to increase your credit score while you're also looking at things from your past that you need to strategically pay off. And so one of the things that helped me not fall into trouble by using these credit cards is I'm married and my wife helped me with it. I had a partner that held me accountable to make sure that I didn't mess this stuff up. The other thing that helped was a budget and a plan and working with someone that was going to help us buy a home. So all this was done within a strategy of home ownership. This wasn't done just as a one-off, because if you do that, it's so easy to use these credit cards in the wrong way. But those are some credit building strategies, and what's great is you can go on CreditWise and they categorize them and they put them right in front of you where you can click on each one and it shows you step by step how to do it. And so that's what I would do. Well, I get asked sometimes if people should use like a credit repair like agency, right? Like one of those people that call and they tell you how to repair your credit. I'm sure there are situations where things are really, really bad. And in that case, what's awesome is if you talk to a realtor that gets you to a lender, they're credit repair specialists and they can give you tons of information that'll help you, right? And so paying someone to help you with your credit when you can just download an app for free and get an evaluation and some steps that you can take, most of the time is the best bet. And so I wouldn't pay anyone to help me with that without first doing the research, using the app, and walking through a few of those steps. So for someone that has no credit whatsoever and they're planning to buy a home, let's say you're 18, 19, 20 years old, getting these credit cards, especially if you're diligent and you don't have debt, to build up your available credit, using a credit building credit card like that is great. I know a girl that went and bought her daughter clothes at Old Navy, and because her credit score was high and she was in this process, they offered her a $10,000 Old Navy credit card. She took it because she got 50% off the purchase, got the card and cut it up and never used it. That helped them get into the 800s and they're buying a home. So all these things are tactics that you can use when you actually have a team helping you, right? So don't take any of these things that I'm saying as a one-off, besides downloading an app to do an evaluation and help you. But the first step is, after you do that, right, which is good because you want to know where you stand on your credit, is to get to a realtor that can help you understand what you qualify for and the next steps. And most of the time, a mortgage lender is going to give some of these same tips to you. Remember, each situation is different. There's people that probably should file bankruptcy. There's people that have evictions and damage to their credit, student loans they haven't paid. So there's all kinds of problems that can come up. But for most of the time, these tactics will work. But talk to a realtor, talk to a lender, see where you qualify, and multiple people can help you with some basic credit repair steps that should help you understand what steps you need to take to buy a home.